Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Ceesay.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Busel mu fine.
What?
Busel mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Busel mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
It's Wednesday, the 30th of April, 2025, and live on West Coast Radio, also on YouTube. This is Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. Thanks for joining us. Dr. Ceesay is with us this morning. He was unable to be on the program on Tuesday because staff dominated the program. Welcome back, Doctor. And yes, updates are usually what you start with.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Peter. Good morning. The first update is from the presidency. His Excellency President Adama Barrow witnessed the signing of 4 strategic MOUs between the government of the Gambia and the Heilong King province in the People's Republic of China. The MOUs aim to strengthen development cooperation and improve key sectors. One is the development of sports facilities and water infrastructure. 2 is the provision of free cataract surgeries. And 3 is the talent exchange and training program between the 2 countries. And 4 is the supply of non-GM genetically modified rice seeds. This underscores the strong bilateral ties between the Gambia and the People's Republic of China. The second update is also from the presidency. The president, His Excellency Adama Barrow, also attended the commissioning of the OMVG Byron Dam Lero Anufo substation in Guinea-Bissau. That was on Friday. This is a critical component of the Regional Power Integration Initiative. The project features a 220 kV high voltage double circuit transmission line network, which will significantly improve electricity access across the Gambia, Senegal, Guinea-Conakry, and Guinea-Bissau, reinforcing regional cooperation in the energy sector. People say there is no politics in energy, so integration of energy sectors is always almost easier. The second to last update is from Ministry of Trade. This is important. Ministry of Trade has secured financing $20 million from it's what they call the, I think it's the Muro Harbor financing agreement. They was signed on the February 4th, $20 million to support importers of essential non-oil commodities such as rice, vegetable oil, sugar, cement, and medicines. It will manage through Ajib Bank. And finally, also in our drive to curb corruption and ensure efficiency in revenue generation, the government of the Gambia signed an MOU with Ajib Bank to digitize public payment processes. Now, citizens can pay for government services such as passports, business registration, land payments, development permits, fishing and quarrying licenses directly into the bank account. The reforms ensure structured, auditable, and efficient flow of public revenue and reduces reliance on cashiers at ministries. So these are updates from government. Thank you.
Is there an explanation for the increased ties between government and Ajib Bank per se? Because everything seems to be with Ajib Bank
I think
now.
because what I understand is that GRA, the body responsible for revenue generation, has always been banking with Ajib Bank, even prior to...
Has always been banking? I mean,
yes.
Ajib is a relatively new bank.
No, but they've been banking with them even before this thing comes, so it's natural that they'll just continue with them.
They've always been, it's like, you know...
No, it's not like they just started banking with them in line with this MOU, that they've been banking with them. So it's always easier to just continue with why you have an account. So there is no particular reason why it's
banking with several other banks.
Yeah, but I mean, the particular reason why they signed this MOU, I mean, those are issues that GRA can answer. What I can transmit is that they've signed an MOU with Ajib Bank to ensure that payments are made online.
And the question is, why the increasing strong ties with this particular bank?
Well, I cannot answer that question.
Okay, then exactly. So don't beat about the bush. All right. Any other updates? Is that everything?
Yes, those are the updates from government.
Okay. Taliban Suda is all over the place.
Yes, Peter.
And you know, these OIC cars were a major issue. One, we thought the number was much greater than the need, and now the issue of cost comes across. Similar cars, same cars if you like, apparently bought at a much lower price than the government has told us they bought their cars for.
Well, I've listened to the mayor's interview. There are many issues that came up. One is the cost. I think one of the allegations is that the prices were inflated or overinflated. I think that statement shows that either the mayor is ignorant of public procurement works in this country, or he was just trying to be plainly dishonest. Now, one thing that is important is that for the records, the OIC Land Cruiser vehicles that the ministers are using currently did not cost $12 million.
How much did they cost?
They cost just over $8 million. That is one. Two, you cannot compare the vehicles that the ministers are using and the project vehicles. There are huge differences in terms of, one, the standards are different, the specs are different. The project vehicles are standard GXR vehicles, diesel V8, 7-seater, of an older type, with just basic functions. They bought them because of they are supposed to support the education sector and some of the social projects up country, and because of their durability in navigating that terrain. That is why they are bought. The minister's vehicles are VXR petrol, which has a high functionality, so the specs are different.
How many cylinders?
6.
So V6.
V6 petrol, so they are different. Sometimes you see a car, 2 cars, they all look alike outside. Those in the car industry will know this, but the specs are different, the EM model is different, and the standards are different. The VXR that the ministers are using is a premium functions. These ones are standard. So you can't compare the two in terms of quality, but also in terms of specification, but also in terms of EM model, and so on and so forth. Now, when it comes to the procurement of these vehicles, obviously, clearly, apart from the fact that there are differences in the specifications and all I've named, the procurement method was very different. Public procurement works very differently. So when you procure from the GLF, you have to follow public procurement rules, which means that it must be bought from vendors in the country, not at source. Source pricing, if I buy this water from the supermarket and I go to the factory and I buy it, obviously, there'll be huge differences in terms of the price and the cost. Now, also, if this water was the OIC vehicles were pre-financed from local vendors, they had to pay for it. And he even said it, that in fact, he contradicted himself, that the Mbalit trucks, that the price at source cannot be the same price as here, because there's what they call the shipment payments, the duties, and so on and so forth. All these things will add to the cost. So what is important is that in public procurement, you must use local vendors. And these local vendors have to buy it from source, ship it, it has to come with all the expenses, logistics that has to go with it, and their profit margin, obviously, the price will go up a bit higher. The government cannot buy from source. And I can give an example today. If a government official wants to travel, you go online and look for an air ticket to London to and fro. Online will be far cheaper than if you buy it from an agent, a vendor from the Gambia. Yes, but public procurement indicator doesn't allow the government to buy online directly from source. You must use a vendor. We have a vendor-based procurement system. So obviously, if that is the case, you cannot compare that to say, okay, because the factory price is this, so government overinflated. But take into consideration the cost of transporting that vehicle to the Gambia, the duties, the logistical fees, and so on and so forth. So what is important is that the mayor should not come and try to mislead Gambians just because of to score cheap political points. We think that is unfair, and I think, in fact, the project vehicles also, he gave a reason. The reason why they were returned was because of the pricing. That is false. When the vehicles were assessed, and we came to realize that they are not of the same standard as the premium VXR that the ministers are using, it was confirmed that they are not the same. That is why they were returned. And after the lifespan of the project, these vehicles will be returned by the Gambia government. But also the savings that the PCU, the Project Coordination Unit, made. These are Minister of Finance savings. It's not like these are savings by the...
savings on what?
Because the savings that, they use the UNOPS. UNOPS, when you buy vehicles through UNOPS, it's always cheaper because they buy from source, and then it's always cheaper. So the PCU, the vehicles they bought for the project vehicles, they made savings from there because obviously it became cheaper because they buy from source cash. It's different from when it's pre-financed because the interest has to be added and all other cost has to be added. So the two statements he made, he really lied and made some really false statements. One is that the price is false. He lied on the price. Two, in terms of the project vehicles, the reason why he said they were returned back to the project is not because of the cost. It's because after the assessment, we realized the specs are not the same. The EM model is not the same. So you cannot really compare the two. But so the model is not the same as well. So also he lied that it was 20 project vehicles, which is false also. It's only 6 project vehicles. So this should be very clear.
That's it?
No, he also made other statements. One is the issue of street cleaning.
So you listened carefully and you were noting that.
as public officials, when you are entrusted with the responsibility to deliver services, I think it's either you deliver or you come out and say the truth that you cannot really deliver. KMC is one of the most dirty municipalities in the continent.
Continent?
Of course, in Africa, yes. One of the most dirty municipalities in the continent.
So you've been to every African country to know that,
most of the countries I have visited, and there are quite a lot of countries I visited in the continent, in Africa.
Yeah, most is not all.
What I'm saying is that KM is one of the dirtiest.
No, you set out saying that KMC or KM.
The ones I've seen
is the most.
The ones I've visited, I found KM to be the dirtiest, and that is a fact. Just walk across the street from Senegambia towards Turntable, you'll see dirt, even though that is in West Coast region. But go to Bundung, go to Ibo Town, go to the markets. I got calls from market, Talending market, Latikunda market. Their toilets are not even fit for human usage.
And those people will call you rather than call the health minister?
They will call me to complain that, can you talk about our markets? They are in deplorable condition that Talib has abandoned and ignored our markets. And that is the price you pay when you focus too much on politics and ignore the reason why you are elected for. I think the young man is focusing too much on politics. That is why he's going around making false statements and trying to mislead the public, which we think is not good politics. But also he talked about how we have ignored farmers. We have spent...
Just before you address the farmer thing, I think you would accept, though, that Talib has done much better with waste management in KM than anyone before him.
For the very few people...
KM may still be dirty, but it is a lot cleaner than the KM he inherited.
Well, I don't agree with that. Yes.
I live in KM.
I
still have issues with waste.
I go to KM every day, but I don't think so. I think what I know is that the few people that they are, how do you call it, some of his friends and family are benefiting from the Malit project, but not the general populace. So obviously, that is the fact. He talked about farmers. What we have spent on farmers, no government has done on farmers. We spent almost nearly close to $1 billion to help farmers. Last season, we bought their groundnuts at $38,000 per ton, even though we have to resell it at $20,000 per ton. It means that we subsidize $18,000 per ton. We bought the price of fertilizer per bag, $2,600 almost, and we resell it to farmers at $1,150, losing by almost $1,500, which is subsidized. Apart from that, the provision of seeds, the support with tractors to plow land, all these things are done for farmers, and farmers appreciate it. I think let farmers speak for themselves. He's not the advocate for farmers. Let him focus on his job at the KM. And also one thing he also mentioned, which I think was very disingenuous, and it was an attempt to really deceive and play some dirty politics, which he's not known for. And I was really taken aback when I heard that the presidency election will bring authoritarian regime in this country. That was a very, very disingenuous, very dishonest, very bad statement, very tasteless statement. We know currently that the KM has been turned into a dynasty. This tells us that a guy like that, if he's given the presidency,
dynasty how?
Of course, it's a family business.
Who else is there from his family?
That's not my job to say, but I know that it's
a
family business.
Don't say it. You just said it. If it's not your business to say, why are you saying it?
I'm saying it because that is the fact. But it's not my to go into the specifics. What I can tell you is that someone like that, if given a country, will turn this country into a dynasty. It's going to be a family affair. And Gambians are not sleeping.
You
and
can't prove your dynasty claim because you can't name, any relative of Talib's.
I don't want to name.
That's working with him or under him at this moment.
I can't name and don't want to name are two different things. What I know is that there are tendencies that a guy like that, if given the chance to govern this country, will transform this country into a dynasty. And that is a fact, and we know what is happening. So for me, I think for him to come here and sit and try to give false information and lie to the public, it's very disappointing. The OIC vehicles that the ministers are using, he lied on the cost. He lied in the comparison with the project vehicles. The specs are not the same. The manner in which they are procured are not the same. Totally different, but also the numbers, he also got the numbers wrong. Whoever is giving him information, if he is paying that guy, he should go back and get his money back, or he should sack that guy as his main intel officer, because that guy is clearly misleading the young man.
Okay, how would you respond to people who, listening to you, watching you right now, would say, Lila Olafwa, Dega Kanila, that, this is paining you and maybe everybody else in government,
Look, Peter,
because this,
might
actually be the truth. Huh?
No, it's not paining us. Why would it pain us? Why would a lie pain us? If it
They say the truth. They say the truth hurts.
That's what I'm saying, but it's not the truth. If it was the truth, perhaps it would pain us. We have evidence. We're not like give up evidence. I'm giving you numbers. I'm giving you how much it costs. So it's not like I'm coming to debunk you without giving you the facts. We are giving you the facts. I give you the facts.
So he claims
I gave you
12 million.
Facts.
You're saying it's 8 million
for that particular. There are. You see, the OIC pool had different vehicles there. They have the Mercedes-Benzes. They are the VIP presidential ones, they have the normal Prado ones, and they have the VXR ones. So there are different prices. But for this particular one, for this particular VXR that the ministers are using, it's not.
Which are what? Million. Are they Mercedes-Benz?
No, they are the Land Cruisers, the black ones that the ministers are using. For those ones, the price is, he got it wrong. So it's not like I'm here to debunk just to debunk. I'm giving you the right price. Now they cost over $8 million and not up to $9 million. And also when he said that it's the same vehicles that the projects bought, which is also a lie. It's not the same vehicles. These are different. You can have an iPhone 14. You look at it, it's the same, looks the same on outside as the iPhone 16. But are they the same? No. These ones are older, the specs are different, these ones have been enhanced. So it's different. So you cannot tell me that, okay, they bought an iPhone 16. I looked online, an iPhone cost this. It's different. So he on these three fronts, he lied. He lied on the price. He lied that they are the same, which is totally a lie. He lied of the number, which is different. And it shows, like I said, it shows that he's either ignorant of public procurement, how it works in this country, or that he's just trying to be just dishonest. But the way I'm seeing it, that when you go buy through UNOPS, which is easier, they buy from source, they pay cash. It's cheaper than when you buy using the vendor system in the Gambia, where it's pre-financed, where they have to ship it and it has to come, they have to pay duty, they have to pay this, they have to pay that. Obviously, the price cannot be the same. If I go to the iPhone factory and buy an iPhone 14 at $6,000, and I buy an iPhone 14 from one of these vendors here who buys it and brings it and resells it to me, in fact, the specs are not even the same. So for me, I think this should have not even been a debate. So the truth, yes, but this is not the truth. And that is the fact. What we are giving you is the truth. And we are not angry. We accept criticism. We believe that it makes us grow. It makes us develop. You cannot govern people without being criticized. You must listen to criticisms and accept your flaws. Nobody is perfect. No system is perfect. But if you criticize us, we listen to it. Where we can amend, we amend. But if you lie against us, we have to come out and tell people the truth.
And I suppose because you are not talking about the title deeds, to properties that belong to the KMC that, the council has tried to get from government still and not getting. And their road project, he was spot on these.
Well, the title is, I don't have any information on that.
Okay.
I cannot speak on that. I think that would be for maybe the minister to come and respond to that. But I cannot speak on that information on that. For the road projects, like I said, there is no competition between central government and the municipalities. In fact, they should complement each other. That is why the central government created. Well,
central government requested the original procurement documents given to GPPA, and once they had that, they sat on them. And the only time they knew that government was looking into...
Yeah, but don't say it as if that is the fact. Say he said that. He said that. These are statements he said. He said exactly. Yes. Okay. But the way you are now repeating it as if that has happened. He said that. Well, if you talk to government will tell you something else.
Everything we're saying now is based on what Talib said.
Yes.
So, I mean, whether I say he said or doesn't say, we are directly quoting and dealing with what Talib said here on Tuesday. So that's
you would make that assumption because but the listener would see it differently because he wouldn't know from the angle you are speaking. Okay. So what I'm just trying to point out is...
So what happened to those documents?
Well, like I said, also, there is a reason. If that has happened, I'm not sure if it has happened, I wouldn't know because I did not really find out about that. What I know is that as a government that is serious...
So you were only interested in what he said about the president, which is not surprising, and the cars, because you happen to be... a beneficiary of those.
No. The office happens to be the beneficiary because it's for the office. So what is important is that, Peter, I know that this government has no reason or no benefits from undermining or frustrating the councils or the municipalities. In fact, they complement what we do, and if they do well and develop their municipalities and councils, government takes credit because people will understand that this is part of a system. Now, we would not do anything if the Mekanifi municipality wants to build roads, which is within their mandate. Government will support them because it brings development to the people. And remember, our policy is to promote and enhance infrastructural
but his complaint is government is frustrating him rather than helping him.
No. Government is not. What government is doing is to ensure.
He explained how NRA has been stonewalling the project.
No. You see, whenever you want to bring systems and ensure procedures are followed, perhaps that is what he interpreted as being frustrated. NRA has to ensure that standards are followed, that and these standards must be followed in terms of road. You cannot just allow anybody to come on to build any road. No, it doesn't work like that. You must follow standards and due process. Once you follow all standards and due process, obviously there is no reason for them to deny you building the road. So I think he should understand that the government has no reason. What the government wants to do is to work with all municipalities and councils and to ensure that they deliver, because if they deliver, government delivers.
Okay.
And one more thing I need to clarify, Peter, and I think this is very important that I talk about it, is the issue of per diems. I've read around people's thinking that per diems that public officials receive go to their pockets. They are paid, it's an extra payment for being out of the country, which is misleading, it's a misconception. And I'd like to clarify, let governments understand that when a public officer travels, there are two types of travels. All paid for travel, that is the host country where you are going to visit pays for everything, your ticket, your accommodation, and then your feeding. Then you are not entitled to per diems because everything is paid for. The government doesn't pay you per diems. But if it's statutory, where the government has to send representative, public office has to go, where your ticket, your feeding, accommodation, and your local logistics is not paid for. It's when now you are provided with support to pay for that. So the pay don't go into your pocket. It is used to pay for your hotel when you are in the meeting. It is used to pay for your local transport. It is used to pay for your feeding and other incidentals if you are traveling. So let people understand that. It's not like the hotel is paid for already, then they give you extra money as per. It doesn't work like that. I think that's because I've seen many people talking about that. In fact, calculating per night and per month how much each public official receives if they travel a particular number of days in the month, which I think really, to be honest, I don't blame the people because they don't understand how these things work. If they give me my per diem and I'm going on a statutory meeting to Switzerland or to Guinea-Bissau or to Tanzania, I'm responsible for my hotel. It pays for it. it pays for my hotel, for my feeding, for my everything that I do. So people have to understand that, because you don't expect me to go, who's going to pay for my hotel? Me? Not from my pocket. I'm going on an official mission. So I just want to make that clarification, Peter.
Are those your next destinations? Switzerland, Guinea-Bissau, and Tanzania? Is that what you?
Well, I wish I could go to Tanzania so I could do some safari.
Anything else? Because questions have started coming in.
No, we can just delete questions now.
Yeah, okay.
Axila jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de de. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ana lay waxal.
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine. Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bisul mu fine. Wave. Your money is yours.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Okay, 7711599 if you have a question for the doctor. Good morning, Peter. Can you ask Dr. Ismaila Ceesay or Yankuba Dabo of GRA to tell Gambians how much it costs to organize a taxpayer award dinner year by year from 2020 to date?
Well, I don't have those figures.
You don't have those figures. And you are not making any commitment to find out?
Well, I think Yankuba Dabo is a regular guest on this show. He's not media shy.
Okay.
Very eloquent, very hardworking, efficient, effective gentleman. I think when he gets the opportunity, he will answer that question.
Whenever he wants the opportunity, he will get the opportunity. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Can you ask the Minister of Information, what is the update with the OIC hotel that was supposed to be built for the OIC? Recently, I noted works are ongoing. Can we have an update on any new development?
The President is visiting there today. Actually.
Oh, he's visiting
there
today?
Yes, I've got this...
How timely. So what's going on there? What's he going there to see?
I'm not sure. What I can confirm is that we've got the... let me just confirm quickly that the President, in fact, is going out today for a visit of different sites. I think it's important that the public also knows about this. His Excellency will do site visits today, Wednesday, the 29th of April 2025. He'll visit the USET campus in Brikama, which is almost complete, and I think congratulations to the Honorable Minister of Higher Education. This is a landmark infrastructure that will promote higher education, particularly in the STEM field. University.
We want to know is, what is it with the OIC hotel?
Yeah, I'm coming. He'll also visit the Gambia National Lab for Food and Drugs in Brusubi. For the first time, we are building such an edifice. He'll visit the OIC hotel site in Bijilo. He'll visit the Gambia Maritime Agency headquarters in Kololi. He'll visit the Egyptian Hospital, the Negma Ferry project site in Banjul, and also the AFSTH construction project. So I cannot tell you exactly how far work has gone in Bijilo at the OIC hotel because I've not been there and I've not got those details. What I know is that the President is visiting there today, and I hope perhaps, I don't know the state, but work should be ongoing.
Will it still be called OIC Hotel when it's complete?
The last time I checked, it's supposed to be called Radisson.
Is it?
Radisson. I think it's...
We're referring to it as OIC Hotel.
It was supposed to serve a OIC purpose, but that has passed. So, but again, even if it was built for the OIC, it would still stay and serve the tourism sector. Nonetheless, so...
Yeah, because Bertil Harding has, just like that, become OIC Highway.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Hello, Peter. Can you tell the minister that he is not making sense in all what he is saying? For example, he said the KM is the dirtiest on the continent, and when he was further quizzed, he decided to water down that statement. He appeared on your program several times in the past, only to come back to apologize. Does it mean that he is a liar? There was,
well, that's his
frequent use of the L word.
That's his opinion about me.
He's asking a question.
What I can tell you is that I wouldn't answer that question. What I can tell you is that it is my assessment that KM is a very dirty municipality, and I think they need to do more work in cleaning the municipality.
Okay, all right. 7711 599 is the number Good morning. I believe the real question is, why is government buying vehicles at $8 million when they can get it at way less? What's the rationale for a poor country like the Gambia?
You cannot get it way less. That is the price in terms of, like I said.
No, you could have gone for the lower quality. It will still.
No, you see, Peter.
It will still take you to Banjul.
It depends on the purpose. It depends on the purpose. The vehicles are not bought for that. They are bought to welcome visiting dignitaries, heads of states, presidents, and kings to come, and a state should not be belittled in any way. So if you go to other countries, that is what obtains there. When they have guests, they give you the best quality vehicles to drive you around. I think as a government, as a country, we need to be proud of ourselves that we have vehicles that can welcome dignitaries. And when they come and they are used, they are proud and they are happy that they've been given that privilege. These are premium vehicles, so you cannot compare that. The state is big and should be magnified. We cannot in any way belittle the state.
Yeah, but all those people you were expecting to come ended up not coming.
Yeah, but a lot of them came.
There was not a single king here. There was not a single sultan here. I mean, there were few presidents
came, but they came. At least the
usual suspects.
Yeah, but it was a symbolic. I think we need to look at the bigger picture. We were able to host, as a small country, one of the biggest gathering of world leaders, and it was very successful. One of the most successful. It went well. Protocol-wise, everything went, security-wise, everything went really well. I think we should celebrate that. Let's look at the bigger picture.
Good morning, Peter. Let the minister know what is important to Gambians is spending our monies wisely and on need basis. There is no sense in processing assets that will dwindle in just a few years, so there's no justification in the cost as far as the Gambian circumstances are, which is the point I was trying to make.
No, what I'm
if you had a choice between 3 million and 8 million, why would you go for 8 million?
It didn't even cost 3 million in the first place. That's what I'm telling you. It didn't cost 3 million.
Talib said...
like I said, it didn't cost 3 million. Let him bring the invoice that it cost 3 million. Let him bring the invoice that those vehicles cost 3 million. He cannot just go on Google and search and say Google price is 3 million, they cost 3 million. It doesn't. Let him bring the invoice. The people who let them give him the invoice so he can bring it, so we see it cost 3 million.
Okay. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Can you kindly ask Dr. Ismaila why the vehicles were taken in the first place? The vehicles that were bought by the RISE project for the implementing institutions. What can you tell us about?
Well, as part of policies that vehicles that are for projects should be able to match that purpose. And like I said, you look at the vehicle from the outside, they look like the premium ministerial vehicles, which should not be used for those projects. So when they were recalled, an assessment was done, it was found out that they are not the same. Then they were released. But you cannot remember, the project money it's for Gambia. It's for the Gambian people. It's supposed to be used wisely. This is part of our efforts to promote fiscal discipline in the system. So when we see projects buying vehicles that we know don't align with what they are supposed to do, we have a right to call them and do an assessment, and we did that, and it was assessed and realized that the vehicles are totally different. They are just normal standard V8 diesel vehicles, 7-seater, that are bought because of the manner in which they can help in navigating terrains where they are supposed to, like education sector, health sector, and also the social sectors. Then when that assessment was done, they were released, pure and simple.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. Schedule a debate, please, between the minister and the mayor. Some people feel that I'm a magician, I can make things happen. If we were to, try to arrange that, would you debate Talib Bensouda live on radio?
What would be the rationale for that?
Well, just clearly.
He's the mayor. I'm an information minister. I mean, let me make this clear.
Who's higher in terms of status? The minister.
You can't compare a minister.
I'm asking you. I don't know.
I mean, a minister is higher, of course.
Really?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that, Peter, when it comes to debate, everybody knows that I don't shy away from debates, and I can take on anybody.
Okay.
In this country.
So if I get the consent of Mayor Bensouda, you would be. But
there must be a rationale for that. What will the purpose of the debate? We are on different levels. Our work, the nature of our work is different.
Well, you defend Adama Barrow. Talib would like to not see Adama Barrow contest in 2026? If he does contest, Talib would want to see him lose the election.
Well, we would also want to, and we're going to ensure, and so we are confident
that's the basis of a debate.
The UDP doesn't win. If we get closer to the elections and debates are organized on policy issues, like I said, and I've made this during our CA Congress in Mansa Conco a couple of days ago, that I have not seen an alternative from the opposition. Specifically the UDP, I see no vision. They will tell you, okay, the price of rice is high, but they cannot tell you how they will do differently to bring it down if they're in power. I want to see that. I want to see a UDP tell me that when they are in power, they'll bring the price of rice to less than $1,000. How are they going to do it? That is different from what we are doing now. These are the things I want them to be talking about. An opposition should be an alternative. They should provide solutions. Where they think that we are doing wrong, tell us, okay, this is how we are going to do it, and it must make sense. And I want you to challenge any of the three musketeers that comes here the next time. Tell them that how are you going to, as a party, bring down the price of rice below $1,000 if you are elected, and let them explain.
That could be the basis of a debate.
Like I said, we are happy to debate anybody on policy.
All right. We'll arrange a debate between you and Talib on policy. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Kindly ask him, in his honest opinion, what good thing he believes Talib has done or is doing in Kanifing municipality.
I'm not Talib's spokesperson, so I cannot sit here and say what good thing he has done. What I can say is my assessment of how the KM looks like, and I've made it very clear what that assessment is.
And you've only seen negativity.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, I'm not the spokesperson. His spokesperson can come and speak on the things he's done. What I can say is that based on my assessment of KM, it's a very dirty municipality.
Bakote dump site used to be an eyesore. It isn't anymore. That has to be good.
Well, it's for them to sell that to the Gambian people, the electorate, people who voted them in. It's not for me to come and speak about that.
Even if you see that is the case.
It's not my job to speak for him and talk about what he's done. It's for his PR team to do that for him.
Okay, I'm not asking you to speak for him. I'm asking you to state what you see.
What I see is that KM is very dirty.
Can we be specific about the Bakote dump
site? Well, KM is very dirty. That's what I can see.
KM is not the Bakote dump site. Neither is the Bakote dump site KM.
KM is dirty.
Good morning, Uncle Peter. Can you tell your guest it's honestly insulting that he thinks people wouldn't notice the lies. People value honesty, and it's clear now that he doesn't. If he can't speak the truth, then don't speak to people at all. What is procedure is that wasn't taken by KMC in order for them to allow the road construction. So again, this guy referring to the stone walling as far as the $300 million is to be spent on road construction in the KMC. That's quite a sizable part of the taxes raised from the people of KM to be spent on constructing new roads or rehabilitating old roads.
Like I said,
that is positive.
The government will support.
You have to acknowledge the government. That is a good decision.
Like I did not say it's not good. What I'm saying is that.
So for what?
As long as it's done properly and it benefits Gambians, the government will support the endeavor.
Nobody brings in conditions when government decides to build roads.
But government,
come with your own specifications.
No, we follow. There are rules, there are laws, there are procedures we follow, and government follows those procedures. Because
there are rules and there are laws, including NRA.
That's what I'm saying. It has to do
that KMC has followed according to Talib.
Well, that's according to him. If you bring the NRA, perhaps they will tell you something else. What I can guarantee and what I can speak with certainty is that the government of the Gambia, under the leadership of His Excellency, the President Adama Barrow, will support any council, municipality to deliver goods to the people because it is in our interest for that to happen. And that if the roads are done, it will serve the Gambian people. The government will support the endeavor.
Dr. Ismail Ceesay, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And that's it. You've been listening to Coffee Time with Peter Gomez this Wednesday, the 30th of April. Now, tomorrow is the 1st of May, Workers' Day, a public holiday in the Gambia and many countries around the world. In principle, the production team also observes public holidays by staying at home, but not tomorrow, because it's the only opportunity we have this week to sit with Halifa Saleh on Coffee Time for at least 2 hours. So tomorrow, I'll be here from 8 a.m. to at least 10 a.m. with the Doi veteran, and I hope so will you.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Ceesay.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ano lay waxal?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Yes!
Wave Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. Ak Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.